chosen three.
All right, let's go, team. And hello, and welcome to the nature category. If you're just tuning in from out there in the World Wide Web, thanks for tuning in and thanks for listening. Today we want to give a special thanks to the Photo Warehouse who are sponsoring of the 2026 New Zealand Amateur Photography Awards. For the nature category, it's for photographs where the main focus of the image is an animal, wildlife, or natural world. These images may include people and other elements that give it context to the story of the image. This category includes photographs of flora, flowers and trees, etc., underwater photographs, and wildlife/animals. Portraits of pets may be better suited to the portrait category. Only basic post-production adjustments are accepted in this category, such as tonal control, black and white conversion, sharpening and cropping. Focus stacking, focus stacking or stitching is acceptable as long as all images were taken at the same time and place and do not introduce new elements. The final image must remain an authentic representation of what was captured on the sensor. Post-production adjustments must not hide or introduce key elements of the image. So what we're going to do now is run through the top 25 finalists, and they will have an award, and we are going to invite the judges to give some constructive feedback. When we get to the top 10, these ones will be in a random order. No score will be read out and no placing. So it'll just be, you've made it to the top 10, congratulations. And then at 5 o'clock tonight, the category winners will be announced along with the 3 finalists for New Zealand Amateur Photographer of the Year. So make sure you stick around to watch that or definitely come back. And if you're in Christchurch, pop on down. So the bar tonight, if you are here, will be open from 3:30 to 8. There'll be lots of photographers out there, and feel free to go and pick their brains and have a chat. They may look scary, but really they're all very, very nice. And that is sponsored by Joel Dunn, Mindset Coach. And don't forget, if you're in Christchurch this week, there is some free education sessions at Photo Connect. These are put on by our amazing photographers, and you need to register for these events in order to attend. So check out the schedule and sign up at nzphotoshow.co.nz. You really do need to make the most of this education that's getting put on. And don't forget, you can also look at nzphotoshow.co. That's 2 days of amazing workshop type things and learning, and you can never get enough. All of us will be there and doing as much learning as we can. But that's enough from me. Let's get into the top 25.
Behind every camera is a person. Behind every recommendation is someone who actually uses it. That's what makes Photo Warehouse different. We're photographers, filmmakers, birdwatchers, stargazers, gear nerds and storytellers. We've been sharing that passion with Kiwis for generations, filling our shelves with everything from cameras, the coolest little gadgets that make you stop and say, that's actually pretty awesome. With 7 stores across New Zealand. We'd love to meet you. Welcome to Photo Warehouse, your local camera store.
All right. We're going to go straight into the 25th place of Dave. Congratulations on your silver award.
Yeah, well done, Dave. This is obviously the career, the New Zealand native falcon. I photographed a few of them myself. Quite exciting when you get one this sharp, especially when it's looking at you. And yeah, it's well captured. I like the booker, the natural green behind it. Looks very good. And also, obviously, a good shutter speed to freeze it, probably in the 2,000 plus range. So, well done.
This photo just jumps out at you. The intensity of that gaze is fantastic. The catch lights are wonderful. The lighting on the feathers is wonderful. The brightest feathers I don't find particularly distracting. Which the fact that you've captured this in less than a heartbeat, I just think it is beautifully. You've caught the right frame to accentuate the beauty of this wonderful bird, but also the intensity of that gaze. And like John said, I really appreciate the bokeh in the background. It's beautifully creamy and enhances the image rather than detracting from it.
Yeah, often the complexity of how to capture these things is beguiling when we confronted with the stillness of it, if you like. So you forget what's gone onto it. So your sense of timing, Dave, is fantastic. The shape of the wings leads us into that gaze. The gaze is everything because this is a predatory bird and that's what they rely on. So we're fully engaged with that and you've done really well.
And the 23rd equal place goes to Gavin, who was awarded a silver merit with merit. Congratulations.
This is such a unique, unusual photograph. I think the perspective that you've taken it from, the wonderful splash of water that I think really the curve of it in the foreground, that it's beautiful. The fact that the I'm guessing it's like a rainbow bead or something has captured this crab. It's fantastic. I did have the pleasure of judging this on my own monitor, and I think there was just a tiny little bit of sharpening that was a little bit more than what was necessary, but that is very, very minor and honestly cannot even be seen on the screen that we're looking at right now. So it's very minor, but it's very dynamic and really shows the behaviour of the creatures involved.
Stilled water is always quite fascinating, really, and there's no rhyme or reason to what's going to happen there. So you've allowed it to show us how much sort of violence is being meted out on that little piece of prey. So shaking it or whatever has created that lovely swoop of water that joins the prey to the bottom of the frame. So the whole thing's quite delicately done, even though it's quite an oppressive situation for something.
Yeah, the technical aspects of this, Gavin, are very good. I mean, you've got quite a range of depth of field there, and you captured everything. So, that's well done. Just amazing timing, a decisive moment all over.
In terms of improvement, the only thing that I could offer is the way that the reflection or the reflected lighting has lit up the breast feathers draws attention away from the head and the crab, and so perhaps minimising that just a little would have improved the image, but it's very minor.
And this image was 23rd equal and a silver with merit. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done again, Dave. I think the thing that intrigues me about this image is actually the stare of. It just looks unimpressed with the rain, but it's nice, a nice colouring in behind it as well, which sort of backs up the colouring of the Carrera. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Yeah, I think the stillness of this image, the stare is everything, isn't it? So it's sort of potential violence, really, potential bad attitude, but in a genteel sort of way with the falling rain and the slow shutter, just allowing that to show us the movement of that against the stillness of that gaze is cleverly thought of.
Yeah, and I think you've captured it at the right moment where the bird's feathers are not drenched. They've got that delicacy, they've got that fluffiness apart from its head, which is quite wet. That lovely difference in texture really showcases the bird's feathers. And I also think that the branch that it is on, while it's not a particularly attractive branch, the way that the colours meld in together, I think works very well. In terms of improvement, I think the only thing that I could suggest is the brightness of that log where the light is falling is quite bright, and if you dulled that down just a little, then it would draw the eye more to the bird and less to the branch.
This image got 20th place and a silver with merit. Congratulations, Dave.
Yeah, congratulations again, Dave. I think the thing is here is obviously the insect right in focus with it too. So is it in focus here? Yep. And it's just great timing, Again, I think the same things we mentioned in the previous image apply to this as well.
Yeah, and since we can compare, because we know they're both yours, I'm really appreciating the difference in the shutter speed and how that's made a difference with the raindrops. I really appreciated the movement of the raindrops in the previous one, but in order to capture that flying insect, you've had to make the shutter speed so fast that we've almost got like a beautiful snowstorm, you know, with the delicacy of those raindrops, which is quite different from the previous photograph, and I think that's quite beautiful.
Yeah, just quickly, it's like a still life really with movement, with the introduction of the insect. So well seen, well waited for, and well captured.
And for our 20th equal place, we've got a silver with merit. Congratulations, Perry.
Yeah, well done, Perry. I just love the effect that a wide, long lens, you know, has achieved the background blur and just it brings out the three-dimensionality of it. And I even like just the feathers coming underneath the branch there, just the white tips of them just add to it as well. And also the gaze, the colour of the eye. So it's beautifully done.
Yeah, Perry, well done. Texture's a beautiful exercise in detail, which you've carried out beautifully. Just if anything, my eyes caught a little bit by the heat at the end of the branch. But other than that, the tonality running through it is awesome.
And the 20th equal place with a silver merit. Congratulations.
What a beautiful portrait of this magnificent bird, with the environment providing, I guess, a counterbalance to the softness of the bokeh. The spikiness of the branches, I think, you know, really echo the detail of the feathers, and the way that your bokeh has a darkness right at the top kind of keeps the eye within the frame, and the colours match the bird perfectly. You couldn't have chosen a better background to accentuate all the colours of the bird. And though the bush behind is clearly the same or very, very similar to the one that the bird is resting on, and you know is also spiky and very busy, you've chosen a depth of field that has softened that quite a lot, which allows that you know the bird to really shine in this photograph.
Well done, Dave. Everything's been said. I won't repeat that, but you've informed me a little bit, really, because now I'm kind of intrigued. My first intrigue was the fact that these birds are willing to land on something like that. I always sort of thought it'd be a solid branch or whatever, but that would be a pretty hard thing to land on. So obviously the intent of the capture of something makes them want to do that. So great sort of information for a city slicker.
Yeah, to add to that, Dave, yeah, I actually enjoy the career photographing them. I actually was commissioned to do a calendar of them a few years back, and amazing birds to capture, and can only see one leg, so the other one's a bit hidden, but yeah, it looks good, and I just back up what the other judges were saying.
And in 19th place, we have a silver with merit. Congratulations.
I had the pleasure of judging this on my ISO monitor at home, and the detail in the fur and in the face is really beautiful, and the contrast with the bokeh, the soft bokeh in the background is really masterful. There is a bit of darkness in the faces that I think could be lightened somewhat, because it is, you know, it's the blacks are very deep and dark, but your brights and darks make this a really powerful black and white, and I think you've handled the mid-tones really well in terms of the ensuring that you've got strong contrast and you know, richness of tone, but yeah, those dark areas are a little dark.
Yeah, I totally agree with the fact that the main character could be a little bit lighter on the left-hand side of the face as we were looking at it. And the only other thing I'd say is just the bright area going up right up to the top. If that was slightly vignetted, I think it would keep the eye into the centre. But hey, well done. That's a beautiful shot.
Nothing to add.
And for 16th equal, we have a silver with merit. You're going to have a bunch of these, Dave.
I think you really have a skill of capturing these birds, Dave, that in a way that makes them, gives them personality, that makes us want to appreciate them. I'm not a bird photographer, and what I'm appreciating in your photographs is your ability to capture that moment when they're eyeballing you and therefore the viewer. I'm really appreciating the feathers, the detail in the feathers, and I also really appreciate the sensitivity of masking the subject somewhat so that we can enjoy the bird of prey without being compromised by feelings of discomfort with seeing the bloodiness of the kill. You've kept it very soft and delicate, and I really appreciate the colour of the grasses around the bird. They allow the bird's depth of colour to be more appreciated. In terms of improvement, the only thing I can suggest is that there is a green area in the background above the bird's head that could be lightened somewhat within the rules of this category, just because it is quite prominent compared to everything that's around the bird.
Nothing much more to add, Dave, but I also enjoy the balance you've created here in the image, mate, with the prey sort of moving in towards the centre from the left and the bird moving in towards the centre from the right. So it gives a lovely sort of balance to me. Also, I quite like the sort of avenue of depth of field you've chosen right through the middle to lead us into just that one little red bit where we know bad shit's going down.
And for 16th equal place with a silver with a merit, congratulations.
Gavin, this was an amazing shot. I love it, and just the timing, the fact that it's going for the insect, and you know it's going to end up in the drink as well, and beautifully captured. And I like the square crop as well, and also the way the reflection just blurs out in the end as well. But the eye is sharp in the reflection and the beak as well. So and also the insect.
Gavin, all I can see, mate, is you quickly looking into the back of your camera, hoping like hell you've nailed the critical moment. And when you saw it, you were probably very excited. So we are too. I think you have, and it's a beautiful image.
Again, I had the pleasure of judging this on my computer at home, and the ability to zoom in and see the detail. And gosh, the immediate impact of this just took my breath away, and the ability to capture the reflection as well as the bird, just absolutely mind-blowing. But when I did look at the detail at the 100%, it wasn't quite sharp, and that was really disappointing as a judge, because we really want to celebrate photographs like this that are just so wow. But it just was not quite there. So if you're wondering why, just the impact of this is absolutely sensational, and if there's any disappointment, that was the only thing.
And 16th place equal with a silver merit, congratulations, Darren.
Yeah, Darren, another amazing shot. Well done. And I think the rain streaks really add to this dimension, and even the drop that's bouncing off them sort of just really bring it out. And again, it comes down to you've got to have an expression on a bird, which is not as easy as it sounds. But well done.
Just to add to that, really enjoy the looking into the negative sort of space on the left, mate. You've placed the bird beautifully in the frame, and even the twigs that might or might not have been wanted to be there just come out the corner on the bottom right. Pleases my eye a great deal also.
Yeah, not only potential improvement would be, that light is falling quite strongly on the log, and just a potential bringing it down just a little. But yeah, just like you, I'm really enjoying the raindrops bouncing off and giving it that sideways movement, so that it's not all up and down. Terrific.
And in 15th place with a silver with merit, we've got Nadine. Congratulations.
This is such a pleasing image to look at, and I just like the two little ones, the baby ones on the bottom, waiting to grow up, and but on top of that is the beautiful colours, the sort of just very subtle purple hint, and also the light on it as well. You can see obviously from the flash, I think, and just right through the middle there, and yeah, it's. The only thing I'd say is, for me, I think a little bit more space down the bottom would actually just appeal to me a little bit more. But well done, Nadine.
I don't think I could say anything in addition apart from, the delicacy of the details on the umbrellas, let's call them. Give it such a textural quality, and the colour on that is just beautiful.
Yeah, at first I wanted to see that the complete sphere of the little character in the background, but now I really enjoy it. It sort of almost feels like it's cosseted by a parent, or it's been protected or cuddled or something. And I quite like those little highlights that are hitting mid-space up the stems as well. So it's beautiful.
And for 13th equal, with a silver with merit, we have this little chap. Thanks, Marshall.
What a quirky guy. And, it is a delight to view a photograph like this, where you feel like the creature is eyeballing you with all four of its eyeballs. It's just a very charismatic view of this spider. I really actually enjoy the darkness behind, but also the vibrant green in the background. In terms of improvement, there's a little patch of something just to the left of the leaf that's coming up into the frame that I think could have been removed. And just with the focus stacking, there are some areas of, it looks almost like haloing, like there's a glowiness to it. And I think that's got to do with the focus stacking technique, that there's just a little bit of softness there. So just watch that, and if it's possible to replace some of those frames with sharper parts of the fur. Can we call it fur? Do we call it fur? Then if that's possible, then that would improve it. But gosh, it makes me smile.
Yeah, it's a great capture, Marshall. You've taken us into a little world that we otherwise wouldn't see without this sort of coverage and vision. So I'm enjoying all the detail in it. Looks like one of my mates on a Friday night, but that's okay. Really, it's a cool little macro shot of something that we would otherwise never see. And the eyes and the pupils, I suppose, or eyeballs, almost sort of Sesame Street-ish, They're quite cool, like Big Bird. So it gives character to something that we otherwise would never see. So well done.
Yeah, I mean this image made me smile, and deservedly so. And it's like Spider's Bad Hair Day, and also the eyes. I think I don't know if they're pupils. That might be just a reflection of something, but it looks like it's looking down at you. So well done.
I still don't want it in my house. Or this one. 13th equal place, silver with medal, silver with merit. Congratulations, Marshall, again.
You must live in an interesting garden, Marshall. So I'm hoping that all these creatures aren't walking around mine. Once again, well done. Fantastic strength of quality of strength here with all the leading lines coming from the corners really nicely. I really enjoy that, taking us right into what is the gaze of another quite scary looking creature.
Yeah, well done again. And I think the colour tonality, the colour palette, all matching, sort of the oranges and browns, and to go along with the spider itself. And also, I love that beard on it. It sort of gives me an impression that it's an old man spider as well. So well done.
Yeah, it definitely has personality, and what I also enjoy is whatever it's sitting on, the edge of that kind of echoes the texture of the critter. So, you've got this really lovely feeling of the spider being in its environment. The only critique that I can offer is there's a really, really abrupt drop-off in focus that whereby the bottom is much less sharp than what's just in front of it. And if you'd been able to get just some additional captures to make sure that the bottom was sharp as well, I think that would have improved the photograph. But wow, like to be able to see so much detail and just enjoy the things we can't see with our eyes, I think you've brought us something really special.
And in 12th place with a silver merit, congratulations to Paul.
Yeah, well done, Paul. I really like just the capturing the moment, the way the wings are opening out as it's about to fly off, and also the way the legs crossed over. I think it's quite quirky and well done. And the background's just a little bit distracting, but that's nothing you could do anything about. But also just that little glint in the eye. I think it's a rifleman, isn't it? And yeah, it looks really cool. Thanks.
To capture such a small, quick bird in an unusual position and show us the wonderful detail of the feathers. The eye is perfectly sharp, the beak is perfectly sharp, the wings have that bit of movement which actually I think assists the image in giving it a bit of energy. And the environment that it's in, as John said, like it's really busy, but the colours really match the bird beautifully. You've all of the colours in the environment match the colours of the bird, and that's been really well seen. Perhaps dulling down some of the bright areas in the background could have made a difference, but not a huge difference. So I think this has been a hugely successful photograph.
Yes, I think just knocking down that little V above the bird would have let the shape of the bird on the top sort of sweep right through it nicely as the only curve in the shot.
Ooh, how did that happen so fast? We're up to our top 10.
So there must be top 11.
Please note there are actually 11 images in the top 10 due to a tie in 10th place. That'll be why. So we're going to go through these in a random order. 3 placings. The top three placings will be revealed tonight at 5 p.m. So either tune back in or come down in person if you're in Christchurch. And the rankings of the top 10 will be posted on our social media channels tomorrow. And here come the top 11 finalists. So to making it to the top 10, congratulations to Paul.
Yeah, Paul, well done again. I mean, obviously that moment you've captured there is amazing. And also like the backlighting fringing around the bird, and also just the droplets of water coming with that insect, the little crab, crustacean or whatever. And also the way that the eye is looking at it from the bird. It's just, and just the toning of the background just blending in beautifully. Beautiful image.
I can't add any. This is just a perfect capture, really. A moment again. The droplets even spilling off the bottom beak. The fact that the crab is hanging on to the top beak, doesn't know what it's hanging on to, and it's about to find out. But the softness of the feathers and the lighting falling off like it is really beautifully seen. Beautifully seen.
I love that the bird's eye, is so firmly in the right place, so that everything we're looking at and appreciating all ends up with the crustacean. In the prejudging, there was a bit of softness on the crab, but the detail in the feathers, especially this side of the bird, is just exquisite. You can pretty much see every little ridge of feather. And to maintain that, is really in nature. You know, that's superb. I'm also really appreciating the consistent and a bright background. I think the colour palette works so well with the bright orange of the beak and the crustacean and the eye. The purple and the orange just complement each other beautifully. So that has really accentuated it also. Congratulations.
We have a score of 77. That's a long
And making it up to the top 10, 11 finalists. Congratulations to Darren.
This one just makes me smile. It's wonderful to see the interaction of these birds, and the bokeh in the background and the sharpness of the birds really show that you have a mastery of depth of field, and you know exactly what you're doing to keep all of those foreground elements so pin sharp and yet create such beautiful bokeh in the background. And I suspect that having a super long lens has helped with that, but I'm really appreciating the repetitive forms. The wings kind of the shape of the wings are echoed in those leaves at the base, and the dead flowers that are attached to that stalk. It's a beautifully crafted image.
Yeah, and the fact that you choose to shoot into the light all the time obviously helps us see the intricacy of your subjects when they're spread like that, when the wings are spread and when they're in full flight and expressing themselves. I really enjoy very much it's almost monochromatic apart from the lovely colours of the two leaves that are coming out in the bottom, pointing towards the action. All in all, it's a stunning image.
Yeah, well done, Darren. I just like the fact that you chose a backlit sort of lighting for this as well, because it really does bring it to life and adds to the three-dimensionality of it. And of course, I just want to back up what Russell was saying about the colour of the added colour of the yellow of those two leaves, and again pointing. It's almost as if one is pointing to each bird, and in a way, and it's just beautifully done. Well done, Darren.
And coming up to the top 10, we have this little chap. Congratulations, Dave.
What I love about this little guy is they are known for their clown-like faces, but this one really does look like it's doing a side eye and smiling, and it's got such strong expression. The detail in the feathers is wonderful. The detail on the legs, gives us an appreciation for more than just the feathers of this bird and what it does and how it lives. If I were to suggest an improvement, it would just be that the bottom right has an out of focus element that is catching my eye. So either positioning yourself so that it wasn't included, or dulling it down a bit in post. That would be my only suggestion.
I think a little bit of stroke of genius dash moment. Also, the fact that the feet are together, replicating the triangularity of the beak. If the feet had been separate, it kind of would have been a little bit busy on the eye. So it's just a wonderful balance of energy, visual energy, rising from the feet all the way up to the face of the bird. So really well done.
Yeah, and another good image, Dave. And also, I think the expression always reminds me of a lawyer, the way it's looking at you. And also, I do appreciate the subtle vignetting. Well, it's not that subtle, but it works for this image. It keeps the eye in it. Well done.
And joining our finalists up here is this bird. Thank you to Paul. Congratulations.
This photograph is, I think, super impressive, Paul, and I think creating a beautiful, rich black and white really sets it apart. You've got a beautiful sense of tone, and the areas of brightness, I think, are appropriate. You've got the lovely light coming through in the background, but also the beautiful light on the bird's face and breast, and just that little bit of light coming through from the back highlights the feathers underneath its chin, and you've still got the catch light in the foreground. I think it's a really well-crafted image, even though the background is so busy and there's so many sticks and leaves and all the rest of it. There is such a peace to this photograph, and to achieve that with this, I think you both the capture and the processing have been so superbly done.
Yeah, this is superior work, Paul. This is as good a bird shot as I've ever seen, to be honest with you, and the fact that you've chosen to present it to us in that monochromatic way also adds to the mood of it. It really is something else to look at. It really hit my heart as soon as it came up. If anything, the only improvement I might visually make is that dark little striation just hitting the top of its head. It would have been sort of quite nice to see that backlit shape of its head in a sort of a calmer spot right there, just to take that thing from touching it, and then it'd be complete for me.
Yeah, well done, Paul. And you know, I'll back up with exactly what the other judges were saying. And also, I just feel that maybe the darkening at the bottom and the top left could be sort of lowered a little bit. It just seems to be over dark, in my opinion. But beautiful image. Well done, Paul.
And into the top 10 finalists is this little hummingbird from Deborah. Thank you and congratulations.
The beauty of capturing such a fast creature in flight, doing what it does, the joyous colour, all of that works so well. The bokeh, the creaminess of that background is really, really beautiful. But I also really enjoyed seeing the sparkle on that drop of nectar from the flower on the right, which is obviously what this bird feeds on. To be able to show the reason that it's doing what it's doing, I think is wonderful in nature. To give that additional information to inform us and enrich our enjoyment, I think is terrific. In terms of improvement, the only thing that I could offer is, I understand the need for the intense flash to really freeze it in motion, but I think that has also highlighted some areas in a not as enjoyable way, but I'm not entirely sure how to avoid that, to be honest.
Oh, Deborah, stunning moment. I just love the sort of the binary nature of it, really. The two flowers, the two wings, the 2 feet, the 2 tails. It just all flows beautifully from one side to the other. Sort of awesomely sort of gorgeous creature caught in the moment, you know. I mean, they are, as has been mentioned, flapping those wings so quickly for you to nail that moment. Well done, and it's beautifully presented.
Yeah, totally well done. I mean, I think by using the flash, it's allowed you to have a little bit more depth of field. Whereas, you know, so you've got to balance that up against going with natural light, of course, where you'd probably be absolutely wide open. The fact that you've got all the flower, the leaf going off to the edge, all in focus. In fact, the only bit that's going slightly out of focus really is the tail. So, and the background blur is just really nice.
And up to the top 10 is another one of my little favourites. Congratulations, Carol, with this little squirrel.
I really enjoy the moment that you've captured and the very fractional space between what it's about to eat and its mouth. It gives it attention. It makes us go straight in and appreciate the feeding element of this creature's behaviour. Really enjoying the colour, the complementariness of the colours, both the green and the yellow with the orange of the squirrel. The only thing that I would suggest is that the log or branches that are in the foreground are quite bright, and they do draw the eye away from what we're enjoying in the centre, so perhaps dull them down a bit to make it more enjoyable to look at.
Yeah, one of the things I looked at in this, Carol, is obviously the squirrel, the expression. We know they're quite a small animal, of course, but I've never seen one in real life yet. But I think that you have a slight distraction, which is talking about the bright area of the logs. I think that could be minimised by just cropping the bottom a bit, and also slightly darkening it, and it would just bring it up a little bit. So well done.
Okay. Then making it to the top 10 is also another image from Marshall. Congratulations. And I don't want any of these in my house.
The strength, in my opinion, of this image is to be able to show the prey as well as the predator, so that we're enjoying both. There's so much detail here, and we can really enjoy the textures, the colours, the quirkiness of the face. And we're reading into it because there is no expression, but it looks like there's an expression on the fly of terror, sheer unadulterated terror. In terms of improvement, there were some areas of brightness, particularly on the fly in the foreground, that have lost the detail because of how bright they are. If you'd been able to retain that detail, it would have improved it just a little bit. But it's such a striking photograph. Congratulations, Marshall.
Just the contrast. I mean, I had it's been quite enlightening for me. I had no idea how much personality these little things had. That there was so much detail and that they can tell each other apart, I suppose, by how they look. But just the orange orbs of the prey and that blue of the spider. It's both strong colours, but both complementing each other beautifully. It's quite an amazing little moment that we get to see and get educated on. All the spikes off the legs of the spider. I mean, that thing's designed to be a terror, and it's being played out in front of us here, and quite enlightening for me, that's for sure, and well captured.
Yeah, well done, Marshall. It's almost as if the spider's showing what it's achieved, what it's caught. Like a cat brings home its prey to show you. And quite quirky is in the eye of the fly is a little bit of fluff or something, and it almost looks like a specular highlight. So, but yeah, I agree with the other ones. It's that bottom left-hand corner, a little bit distracting there, but other than that, it's an amazing image.
And making it to the top 10 as well is Dave. Congratulations. And this little guy who's obviously looking at something.
The intensity of that gaze is absolutely mesmerising. The detail in this photograph was on a full screen, to be able to zoom in was just so enjoyable to see. Just the level of detail that you've captured is next level. And the complementary colours, the way that the bokeh mirrors the colours of the branch that the bird is on, the fall off I think is completely appropriate, so the depth of field I think is spot on, and it's just such an enjoyable image. I really have nothing to offer in terms of improvement.
Also, the angle of the legs and the angle of the striations and the feathers on the top of the head and the angle of the beak sort of all take us from the middle to the bottom left of the frame, which sort of can't help but happen to you. It's the lighting coming from below and picking out the edges of the tail. It's just all a delight, really. It's gorgeous. Just looking at it as a projection on a screen here, it's fantastic.
Oh, totally. Well done, Dave, again. And I actually, looking at the edges, the natural framing in this is well done, and it just works beautifully.
And congratulations to Paul for another top 10 finalists. Well done.
What a great moment to capture. that you've timed this absolutely. You've nailed it. So the positioning within the frame, the way that the bird is just leaving the flower, the continuity of that diagonal, the way that the beak, is the forefront. You've got that triangle right at the edge, the rain that it's in, adding that extra dimensionality, the texture of the feathers because of the rain. You've really made this a very impressive photograph. The eyeballing, the bird, even though it's flying away, it looks like it's looking right at you. Really impressive.
Just awesome, Paul. Makes me jealous. I'm not a bird, really. The fascination of flying, and like I say, I love everything aviation, but birds do that in their own way. And you've allowed us to see that really magnificently in this image, because the feathers are separated from each other so that they can do their thing. And just seeing the curvature of the top, just like an aeroplane wing, just seeing how it all works with the negative space underneath, not negative space, negative pressure from the air that it's pulling its wings through. Everything's there. The tips of the feathers, it's for accuracy. It's just beautiful. Well done. And I love the connection of, even though it's left the flower, it's still connected to the flower by the water that it's dragging with it. So it's gorgeous.
Yeah, well done, Paul. And that looks like West Coast rain to me. And but also, just the way the background out of focus, but it's just the colour of it just gives it a nice sort of contrast to the red. The flowers underneath. So beautiful.
The only little comment I would make in terms of improvement is there's just a little part of the flower that's popping up bottom right into the frame that could be dulled down so that we don't notice it so much.
Great chat, judges. Thank you very much. And another top 10 finalist is this little wax eye. Congratulations.
The way that the circular nature of this is repeated throughout, I think, is really clever. So you've got the curve of the fern and the curves of the ferns within the fern, and the circular, what do you call it around the eye? There's a word for that. The bright feathers around the bird's eye, and the curvaceousness of the bird, all of that just works so well together. Beautiful detail. Love the little raindrop or moisture drop on the bird's nose, gives it a bit of cuteness and personality. The bokeh is lovely. In terms of improvement, the only thing I would offer is that the background is a little noisy, and I would try and minimise that. That's all.
Johan, lovely study. I agree with everything that's been said so far, but I also think I really enjoy the fact that you've cropped just the top of that main sphere of the fern, so that really the only complete sphere is the head of the bird. So if that main fern had been included, we would have been looking at sort of two circles, and I believe the power of that one on the left would have taken our eye away from the bird. But the fact that you've just truncated the top of that is a stroke of genius, really. Whether you meant it or not, I'm not sure, but it's worked really well, because now we just look at the bird, and all those themes are replicated there without dominating the bird. The bird is the winner. Beautiful.
Absolutely. And even the little droplet on its beak, sort of adds to that image. And I was worried a little bit about the what seems noise or pixelation. I'm not really sure which one it is. But, well done, Johan.
And another one of Dave's in the top 10 finalists. Congratulations.
The detail in this one is absolutely mind-boggling. The feathers, there's just so much to enjoy. You can see all the different types of feathers of this bird. It's so tiny, but to capture it in this vertical composition, I think, is really clever, to show how it feeds, to show what it's actually feeding on, to make the landscape part of this photograph to show the behaviour, I think takes it to another level. The bokeh is beautifully creamy. I think the composition of this has been so well crafted.
Yeah, well done, Dave. And this is just a beautiful image to look at. The fact, you've got all the elements in there sharp as well. Slight bit of softening on the bark, but that's unavoidable. Beautiful background, and a really nice shot of the rifleman.
Also, the intimacy of its connection to the tree. I've sort of learnt a lot at looking at these images. The power and weight of these things obviously is admirable, but the length of the claws, talons or whatever they want to be called, really just shows it's designed for its environment, that it can hang on to things like what it's hanging on to right now. And I'm not too sure if that's a little nest in the background, but I kind of like the thought that it is, and it's bringing food home or whatever. But just really enjoy its connection to the tree, the detail of it, the light falling across it to give it texture and bring us into its little world, really. So just amazingly seen, and you make your own luck, Dave. You do well, mate.
And there we go, the top 25 for the nature category. A big thank you to Photo Warehouse for sponsoring for the Amateur Photography Awards this year again. So don't forget to tune back in at 5 p.m. when we have the winners. And we'll be back at 1:15 for the next one.
My partner's in a few of these, and they've obviously not put me in those ones, so it's good.
You are back with me at the. Oh no, you're back at 3:45.
3:45.
Yeah. So until then, you can do whatever you want. I'll be here.